Hello everybody, Dr. Blue here. Today I just wanted to talk to you guys about something I mentioned last video, which was the Rebellion game update that came with the Endless Shadow Wars and the Slaughter Tribe update. And I wanted to talk and tell you guys what exactly Rebellion was about. I explained it pretty well in the video, but basically this supposed Rebellion game update was to add new content to the game, and it's even featured on their DLC game plan for the next year. And I find that so strange, because you'd think if they specifically featured it, then surely it'd be some kind of big thing to the game, an important game update, adding new stuff. But actually, that's not the case. The Rebellion game update was literally a renaming of mass betrayals. Other players have experienced instances where up to 5 Uruks would betray them, and this was actually either a glitch or just a very weird coincidence. And what Rebellion does is to just simply encourage the likelihood of this glitch or weird instance so that most players will receive it at some point. So a lot of the general consensus is that Rebellion basically did nothing for the game, or it didn't add to it, and to add insult on top of injury, this Rebellion game update actually worsened the experience. Whilst Uruks being able to betray you is immersive and adds a risk factor or danger element to the game that keeps you on your toes, there's really not that much you can do about it. You can try and treat your Uruks right, but sometimes they will just betray you anyway, and with the Rebellion update, all it's done is made it more likely for huge groups of Uruks to betray you. This is especially annoying because when an Uruk betrays you, it grants him the Iron Will perk, which is by far one of the most annoying perks to have on an enemy Uruk. This means you will have to shame him in order to break it. Sometimes this works the first time, other times they never lose it. Most of the time it's not broken until they become deranged, which forces the Uruk to lose their personality, making them completely boring. On top of that, this also absolutely destroys Uruk traits. Shaming an Uruk even once will most likely grant them a weakness or two, and if you have the worse than death upgrade on, this will probably grant them about 3 weaknesses. This gradually gets worse and worse with each time you shame the Uruk, and with groups of them betraying you at a time, you're losing up to 5 good Uruks who gain Iron Will, which you then have to ruin in order to get them to come back to your side, and even if you still want them after that. My point is, Rebellion sucks, it really does. It doesn't add anything to the game, it's the game's way of ruining your fortresses and your bodyguards so that you have to get new ones. But there are ways to avoid triggering Rebellion. One of them is to not own all the Uruks of a single region. So if you've dominated the entire army screen, you'll be very likely to trigger a Rebellion. So what you want to do is leave 1 or 2 enemy Uruks in each army so that you don't trigger Rebellion. And I suppose the lore behind this is that Uruks want to kill things, so they have bloodlust, so leaving enemy Uruks in the region for them to kill and attack satisfies that bloodlust. Forcing them to not attack anyone, including each other or anything, would probably bring up their bloodlust, and it would probably overpower your wraith magic. So in terms of lore, this does make sense, I guess. But other things that could be added to the game to make this betrayal process easier to track and mark down would be a loyalty stat on your Uruks. In fact, we don't have a stat screen at all in this game. We need a stat screen added to the game, Monolith. Show us how much time we've played, our total combined damage from our gear, our health, our bonus stats, how many Uruks we've killed, how many we've dominated, and show us Uruk stats too. This would really help with the stability of pit fights too. You could be sure which Uruk could win based on their stats, including health, damage, and extra effects. And outside of that, showing a loyalty stat would show how likely they are to betray us, and that would really help. This is a super basic feature that I'm surprised is not in the game already. And one more thing, this update removed Talion's headband. He had a nice little crafted headband before that went on his forehead, but now it's gone, leaving him with his big green forehead with not even any eyebrows, and it looks super weird. Hashtag bring Talion's headband back. Anyway, thanks for lending me your eyeballs, blue dudes. I'll see you next time.